I sense a trap.
What's up, YouTube? My name is Suction Pruthi, and you're listening to Just Like Me, a podcast where 6 straight brown dudes attempt to unpack trending topics and issues in the world around us. Are we qualified to talk about these subjects? Debatable, but will we do so in a funny and engaging enough way that it won't matter? Here's hoping. Now let's hear from all the other amazing hosts we have on this podcast.
What's up, guys? My name's Srinath.
Hey, everyone. I'm Alex.
Hi, guys. I'm Avnish.
Hey guys, my name is Saksham.
And now it's time. What's up, Luis? Sorry.
Introduce myself. My bad.
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
Pruthi did dick you over. It's okay.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the questions to be asked in today's episode of our podcast. So we have a very special guest star, as you can see. Can we please give a warm shout out for our man, Luis? Luis, introduce yourself. Sorry about that.
That's all good. My bad. So my name is Luis Perez. I went to UCSD with Saksham Gupta. We were roommates for what, a year? About a year? Yeah.
Roommates, you say?
Roommates. And so so I am familiar with some of the Gregory stories that were told by one of your previous guests, Anthony. I got to live with a few of them. And he told one that he was a part of, or he was there, but he wasn't necessarily a part of. So I'm going to clarify some things that happened that night. So he talked about one night where we got written up by some of the campus security officers. And so as Anthony said, he was in his bedroom the whole time, like he was studying or whatever he does in his little cave. And we were celebrating one of the Gregory's birthdays that day. And which was really, really stupid on our part because it was the Friday before finals. And for whatever reason, we thought it was a great time to have a party. And, we lived with a bunch of lightweights, so things got really sloppy really fast, right?
We got our own resident one-shot wonder right here.
And Luke knows the stories, dude.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, things got really sloppy really fast. And at the night was kind of winding down, but everyone was just kind of like shit-faced at that point. And we hear a knocking on the door and we're like, oh shit, like probably campus security, right? And they're like, open up, we know you're having a party in there. And so my immediate thought was like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna just go to my room, lock the door, turn off the lights, pretend I'm asleep, right? And so 2 other people went into my room with me, and we just like I said, lights out, we're just in there hiding. And so did most other people that were there, except for 2 Gregorys who were blackout drunk. And I am telling you, like, blackout belligerent drunk. And they opened the door to campus security, which technically you don't have to do since they're not like actual police officers with a warrant or whatever. So they open the door and they're like, oh, you guys been drinking? And they're like, just a little bit. And there's like alcohol all over the place. Just like open cans, open bottles, like all bad, right? And things start escalating, and I'm in my room and we're hiding, and I was like, do I go out there? Like I'm pretty sober. Like I was sober at that point. And they're like, no, just keep hiding in here. And then I hear, don't touch me, back off, don't touch me, sit down. And I was like, whoa, that's not good. And so I went out and I was like, oh, officer, what's going on? I just woke up. Like, I'm gonna sleep.
I got finals tomorrow, bro.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, and I was like, what's going on? Like, oh, you guys been partying? I was like, I don't know. I went to bed like a few hours ago. And so we got in trouble, and we'll just skip past that. But I will note that the campus security went into my room and was like, who else is hiding in here? And one other person got caught, and someone else was hiding in my closet. And Saksham, you remember like the little closets we had?
Yeah.
Dude, it was literally like, I don't know how big, like maybe 4 feet wide, 5 feet tall at most. Yeah. And on one side, like I had just my clothes hanging, and then I had like a little drawer. And when I opened the door, I opened the drawer side, and the person hiding behind the clothes. And I was like, you see, there's no one here. It's all right. And I closed the door. So he didn't get in trouble, which was honestly crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, fast forward, we all got in trouble. And then I go to bed, we're all like, man, I can't believe we got written up. And one of our roommates, like I said, he was blackout, like frozen drunk. Like this Gregory was just like dead. And I'm sleeping, like, dozing off, and I hear someone gagging, and I'm like, oh, it is what it is, someone's throwing up. But it started sounding like choking eventually. And I was like, yo, what the heck? And so I ran out into the living room, and that roommate that we had like left sleeping in the living room was like choking on his vomit. And I panicked, dude. I was like, what the heck do I do? So I like tipped his head forward, and he was still choking. And I was like, I don't know. And I don't know what like drove me to just stick my fingers into his mouth, but like I pulled throw up out of his mouth, and he just finished throwing up on me.
Ugh.
Ooh.
So that was bad, obviously.
Prithvi's been.
I mean, you're a real one, dude. Better to have alive Gregories than dead Gregories.
Right? Yeah. And so I
Yeah.
put the Gregory in the shower, and he's covered in throw up, so he just stripped down. And then that, things got weird. He was like,
Oh, that's the part you choose to leave out. Things got weird.
yeah, things got weird.
We got all the way here.
I was cleaning the living room, and I was cleaning his clothes, and then he was like, I was like, don't take off your underwear. You don't need to take off your underwear. But he was like, blackout drinks, like, no, I need to take off my underwear.
Wait, does this
And-
overlap with the scrotum story?
No,
No,
this is
scrotum story is different.
like the scrotum story
Okay,
is
it's
like a
different
year
scrotums.
later. So
Okay.
yeah.
If you're curious about the scrotum story,
Yeah, he
check
really
out
wants-
Just Like Me.
And
Oh,
yeah,
man.
so he took off his underwear, and then I was like, dude, you gotta put your underwear back on. And he's like, all right, put them on. And I was gonna take him out of the shower at that point. I opened the curtains. He's not wearing underwear, and his thing's just out. I'm like, bro, like, put it away. Like, put your underwear back on. I get him into bed. No one was fucking helping me at this point. And the next morning, he wakes up and he's like, oh, like, it was a good night last night. I heard we got in trouble, but like, I don't remember any of it. I was like, you don't remember any of it? Like, do you not see why you don't know why there's like vomit stains on the couch? He's like, no, I woke up in different clothes and with a towel. Like, I don't understand why. And I was like, dude, I don't even know how to explain to you what I did for you last night. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, I'm out here living in Texas and just trying to keep the trauma down, working in the industry and try not to think about what I saw and did that night.
You have to move to another state.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
he went back across the world. He's in, I'm not going to say where he is now, but we have many miles between us now.
Gregoria.
Okay. Thank you, Luis, for correcting and clarifying a previous a story from a previous podcast. If you guys want to hear more about crazy roommate stories and more context about that, check out season 1, Crazy Roommate Stories podcast. But today's episode is actually it was supposed to be a little bit more intellectual one, but we obviously had to start off with that clarification.
Well, he did save a life, so he's basically Superman. And where's Superman from?
Kansas?
Space.
Oh.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I thought Kansas too. I was like, is there like a rocket in Kansas or like
Yeah,
Space
I
Center
was
in
like,
Kansas that I don't know
He's
about?
in Texas, Alex. Come on.
No.
But yes, as we have hinted at a couple of times, very, very terribly, this episode is about space exploration. And both Louise and resident JLM podcaster Srinath are working in space companies or aerospace companies. And so we thought the rest of us, and Amnish also has experience working with aerospace engineering to some extent, or at least way more than I do. So
Yeah,
I
and
thought
our host is just out of this world, so.
I was gonna say it, but I thought I'd get bullied. God dang it.
So we thought this would be a great opportunity for us laymen to learn from the masters and honestly just kind of see where the future of aerospace is heading, because like that is a very prominent field. It's honestly something that's in the news a lot. And like we said, trending topics and issues. That's what we're all about at Just Like Me. So
Yeah, we were
Louise
serious.
and Srinath, and then Avanish as well. If you guys can just give a little bit of context about your work, your experience in aerospace engineering, maybe why you got into the field, and then we'll actually go into the actual questions that we had planned for today's episode.
Okay, Luis, you want to go first?
Sure. So I'll start back in college. I got really involved in a rocket club on campus, and I started learning a lot about propulsion. So I was really interested in injector design. So that's what I did for like 2.5 years. Really dedicated a lot of time learning about fluid mechanics and things like that for propulsion. And then I graduated, and honestly, I don't do anything related to fluid mechanics now. So, which is cool. I've gone a different side of engineering. So right now, I'm working as an aerospace engineer for Dynetics, working on the Human Landing System, or the HLS project. And I'm in the displays and controls group. So we're just designing the layout and the actual hardware that will be used in our vehicle for landing on the moon. So I get like I said, it's a very different kind of perspective where we really take the operator perspective really into like that's the biggest important thing, that the crew can use it to land safely. So it's a lot of like human factors engineering, a lot of support, and just logistics really. So which is nice. I don't really have to worry about, oh my goodness, all the Navier-Stokes equations and things like that. So
All the
yeah,
math.
it's
that
a different
just
pace,
letters.
and I've enjoyed it so far.
All right, that's amazing. Srinath?
Yeah. So I also, starting college, when I transferred into UCI, I joined like the rocket project. I was also involved in the injector design for like a quarter, just to make sure it won't blow up. It did blow up, which is good, but we didn't change it. But then I joined like the leadership team and sort of led the team for like the 2 years I was there, which was nice. I interned at the Aerospace Corporation, which is like basically like an R&D company in LA, and a small startup called Spin Launch, who's
Oh, yeah.
doing a very crazy rocket concept, which is just all kinds of whack. And now I work for Blue Origin up in Kent,
Cool.
on the New Shepard program, which is like a space tourism sort of it's a suborbital rocket designed for like human passengers and payloads, for like basically make it cheaper to get zero gravity.
Is no one gonna make a payload joke, or are we just
I
above
mean, I
that?
look at you.
It is a very phallic shaped rocket. I will agree.
Dude, all rockets are phallic shaped.
Yeah, but this one especially.
It's pretty phallic, I would
Yeah,
say.
see, Luis knows
More
what's
than
it's a
most.
very, very phallic rocket. Like most things you could like suggest it, this one has a tip. So like
Did
Is
you
it more
design it?
phallic?
Is it designed after the Srinath Gregory?
no.
Is
just
it
turns out that
more? Is it more phallic than Salesforce Tower? I just want to know that.
yes.
Oh,
Oh my god! Just so our viewers have context.
pretty
By
phallic.
viewers, I mean Shivam.
But yeah, it's pretty
Uh,
cool. I don't do I do a lot of things I don't completely understand. It's a lot of electronics now.
Mhm.
Electricity is whack, is what I've learned.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool.
Like you're working on power systems tree? Is that what you're up to nowadays?
I do I work with all of the systems, so it's just one of them. But like I've never learned that because my background's mechanical, so I've just
Yeah.
left electricity to the wizards. But
I don't know.
yeah.
You took one circuits class in college. You probably
Yeah,
know.
but that's like
You know,
that's like
KCL, KVL. You know how to
Come
like
on,
do your
bro. V equals
that's like
basic-
the
IR.
most basic. It's
V
like
is
saying
equal to
I took
IR.
econ, so I should
Basic-
know how to like.
basic
What is-
time. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, what were you saying?
I know what voltage is. I think it
You
can
know what
kill
voltage
me.
is,
Is
I
what I've
think.
learned.
I know what Voltron is.
Oh my goodness.
Voltage isn't what. Voltage is not what kills you. Current is what kills you. By the way.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Avnish, you want to go and
Yeah.
introduce yourself? I mean, like,
Sorry,
introduce yourself,
yeah,
like your experience.
So when I moved to UW when I was a freshman, I was trying to become a mechanical engineering student, and the very first thing that I did is I joined a team of researchers at UW in the aerospace department, not the aerospace, the Earth and Space Sciences department, who were working on small satellites. It's like there's like a big push in aerospace research to essentially test out new ideas that will go on to the satellites of the future. But the problem is that engineers don't want to put things that weren't tested in space on their satellites. So what they do is they test them on these really small satellites called CubeSats. So I think there was like a smorgasbord of things that they were trying to test on that satellite. But the thing that was by far like the the
main?
biggest thing that was the main thing that they were trying to test is Hall effect thrusters.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they were trying to, that's what they were working on. Yeah, which for people who don't know, essentially what that is it's like actually hold on, I think Luis and Triana can better explain it than I can. It's been a while
I
since
want to
I've
hear
worked
your
on those.
explanation.
I mean, they're okay, sure. I mean, they're thrusters that don't use rocket fuel in a nutshell. Yeah, so you can go a lot longer distances using them.
Well, they do use rocket fuel, and they do use fuel. They use
They use fuel.
They use like a xenon gas, but they use weird
Yeah.
electromagnetic Hall effect, whatever the wizardry that is.
Yeah.
Some sort of weird electromagnetical effect to like basically speed it up and shoot it out to use propellant.
Mhm.
And it's just
Yeah.
a lot more efficient, but it's like you get like a micronewton of force, which is like
Yeah,
less
I'm
than
gonna
the weight
talk.
of a
I'm,
feather.
But
I'm gonna
over time,
I'm gonna
it
I'm gonna
becomes
talk.
less.
I'm gonna talk out of my ass a little bit and try to explain it in simple terms, which is
Yes, go ahead.
um,
That is why you're here.
which is yeah, sorry, which in my way, I think the way it was explained to me like 5 years ago when I learned this was like
Shit, that was
this
something.
technology is like if you use like a traditional propeller based airplane, you use air to drive yourself forward. Okay, but in space, obviously you can't use propeller to drive yourself forward because there's no air which you can push back on. So instead, what you can use is you can use the magnetic forces that already exist. Well, the magnetic currents that already exist, magnetic fields that already exist in space, and you can push yourself off of those. And that's essentially how you'd be using a Hall effect propulsion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just looking
Well-
to Srinath for clarification. He's not nodding, so
I think that's
mean,
something else.
It's
That's something else? Okay.
It's always going to be a momentum problem. So like
yeah.
on, when we're in atmosphere, right, and we expel like hot combustion gases out of your ass on the rocket, you're
Mhm.
sending like very light molecules at a very high velocity.
Essentially
if you
super
think-
farts.
What was that?
Essentially super farts, and it's coming out
Exactly.
of your
No,
ass.
it's
Yeah,
not-
super farts.
so
And you're
if you
sending
can-
a lot
if
of
you
those
can imagine,
molecules.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I
the
can take care
recoil
of that
of a
myself.
cannon, that's what's going on a rocket. pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Controlled
Okay.
explosions. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, while I was there, I worked on the structure of the satellite. It was for a while. I got really good at what it is that I did. I was a very good CAD monkey, and it was my job to make sure that the satellite didn't melt when it
Nice.
hit the sun. And it was also my job to make sure there was these little fold out solar panels that they wanted on the sides,
Ooh.
because when the payload would go up on the shuttle, which I think it did sometime in like 2020, it would go up with the panels folded in, because whoever we were buying, whoever we were getting our trip from, was just like it has to be within a
Yeah.
certain
That's the
certain
whole
space, yeah.
idea of a CubeSat. It's like a standard shape and size so that we can launch a bunch of them doing different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
that's
I'm
what
gonna
I did, yeah.
I'm gonna interject here because it's getting very technical.
Okay.
And,
Sorry.
and me, Gupta,
You're right, yeah.
Thomas are just looking at the screen. It's like, okay, these guys are just jerking each other off. So I had an original question that was more about future of space technology and all that stuff. But before we go there, I'm gonna do some
You
light,
just asked the question.
fun questions.
Okay.
Yeah, before we answer it, I'm gonna do some light, fun questions that all of us can talk about. So, who would win in a fight, Wally or E.T.?
E.T.
Wally.
Wait, why is
E.T.
Jadu not
E.T.
in
Okay,
the fight?
okay. There's an order to this.
Okay,
Thomas,
sorry.
your camera and your microphone's off, so I'll ask you first, and then I want to hear from Gupta before these experts whip
It was
out their
on.
massive space schlongs.
My microphone is off.
It was on. Sorry, I just
Oh,
we
okay.
didn't have a red thing next to it.
Who?
It's the same thing as E.T. The same
No,
thing
it's
as
not
E.T.
the
It's
same thing as
Yes,
ET.
it is.
Don't come
They-
at me with that
Dude,
shit.
come on,
Alex,
come
we
on,
asked
come on.
Wally and E.T.
No,
Exactly.
he's talking about the Bollywood version of E.T.
I know. I refuse to.
Did you say
Okay.
Jadu? I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
oh,
said
yeah, I
Jadu.
said Jadu.
Oh, I didn't hear him.
No blinking. Okay, I think that Wally would win because if you try and touch Wally, then Eve would come out of nowhere and
Exactly.
like fuck your shit up. So there's
I
no
feel
way.
like you guys have a weird way to remember that entire movie. All right.
What do you mean?
Wally
You
was
remember the movie.
Wally was simping after Eve the entire movie. All right.
Yes,
Eve
but
is not
the
protecting
second half,
Wally. All right.
Eve was simping after Wally.
Dude, she has that laser
it's a
gun.
love
You're done.
story.
You're done.
All I'm saying is Wally can take a beating, bro. We saw him take a beating and he still came
That's
back.
true.
Yes,
That's true.
exactly.
Wally's just gonna
He did
spit
not
out
let that plant
ET.
die.
Gupta, Wally, or ET?
Jesus.
That's not an option.
Why is
still-
Jesus not an option? He's an alien too. It's all good.
I'd say probably Wally. Yeah, like he's a robot, dude. Like they're sentient overlords. They're gonna do this anyway one day.
Essentially robots versus aliens.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay, but how about Cowboys versus Aliens? For anybody who remembers that movie, I never watched it.
I
I
wa-
never watched it.
I watched the video. I watched movie for one of my birthdays, and that shit was the biggest disappointment of all time. Because I decided, okay, some context. We just said, you want to watch Planet of the Apes or Cowboys versus Aliens? And I looked at like Daniel Craig, who was I think James Bond at the time. Like, ooh,
Yes,
Yeah,
the cast of
Cowboys
British
versus
man is
Aliens.
Cowboy.
Wait,
And
did
then
we
it was-
go to this together?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Daniel
you-
Craig
you
is in
and-
Cowboys versus. What is that movie about?
Whoa.
Cowboy-
I mean, who you like to take?
Wait, is it a funny
yeah.
is it a funny movie
Don't
or a
let him
serious
be in
movie?
charge
Somebody
of the
tell me.
spaceship.
It's like a serious action movie.
Oh,
There's cowboys and there's
What's-
aliens.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe we watched this. I totally forgot.
And the Cowboys won. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
yeah.
See, that's some
dude,
propaganda.
thanks for fucking ruining that movie.
Are
I mean,
are they like sending that movie out to space? Like, be warned.
That's why they
Daniel
won't
Craig
come
will
back.
whoop your ass.
Yeah,
This is what would
now-
happen if you came here 200 years ago.
Now imagine what happens if you come here now.
Oh my goodness.
Srinath, Louise, Amnish, I think you all said Wally, right?
Yes.
No, I said ET.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
you
why
said ET?
ET?
Yeah.
ET's got magic, dude. ET's got magic. Did everybody
Yes,
forget that?
and
Did
he
you
used
just
that
say
magic
magic?
to befriend
No,
little
what is
kids.
magic?
Yeah, no. ET can do some crazy shit, bro. ET can levitate things, all right? ET's got the force.
Yeah, he can also get shot and then like die. And Wally can get
Yeah, I mean, he could get
not
shot. He could
die.
stop the bullets. You know, it's ET, all right? He can do anything.
Bro, say if he gets shot from the back, like you don't know.
And you know, ET clearly got some kids to fall in love with him, but Wally looks like a piece of shit. You know what I mean? He's
Wally's
rusted. He's rusted metal, bro. He's rusted metal,
He's
bro.
more
He's
attractive
not
than
I
Wally.
guarantee you, there's
Here's-
more kids alive
Yeah,
today that love
ex-
Wally than ET.
Exactly. And that's also
Oh,
and then the other thing.
I
is-
don't know about that.
Other
but-
thing is, ET's a fucking pedo, dude. He just
Dude.
said it. Like he got a
Dude,
whole
okay,
He's
Avnish,
just touching kids.
Avnish.
He's just
If
touching
there was
kids
a
like,
recreation of this scrotum story from the roommate episode, ET
Oh
could
yeah,
play
it
the
would be
scrotum.
ET could play the scrotum.
yeah, that's true.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out of our system so people can,
Yeah.
get their
was
back
that
on
the
board.
Can I just-
transition?
Wait, can I just say really quickly? Jadu looks cuter than ET.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, they're not the
100%.
same then of Nish and Ryan.
They aren't really the
Damn.
same then, huh?
Cuteness.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
did Jadu give that guy superpowers at the end of the movie? Is that how that happened? By the way,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
can
how,
anybody?
that's
Can
how
we
he
just
became Kush.
speak to the fact that that entire movie franchise tried to pivot and they did it kind of well, but they just pivoted too hard, in my opinion.
All right, this is about space, not Bollywood. Let's
Yeah, sorry.
get back to the topic.
Thomas is about to get ready to destroy
I was gonna go off, but then I looked at Luis and was like, you know what?
They didn't know.
Okay, so every now and then I'll do one of these stupid space questions just so we wake the rest of us up in case the space lecture gets a little too spacey. Oh, until we start spacing out, Autumn. Okay, so my next question is for the experts, and
Yep.
if then Thomas have anything to say or any questions of themselves, please chime in. What is the most exciting kind of next thing happening in space exploration, space technology? This episode is about the future of space technology. So we're not talking about, not right now, next year. In the next, 10, 25 years, what is the most exciting advancements you think being made in space technology? We'll start again with Louise, Srinath, and then Anish, if you have something to add, you can add. But don't feel free. If you don't feel comfortable talking, it's okay.
I think in the near future, the most exciting to me anyway is lunar colonization, like making a moon base, right? Because honestly, we're gonna learn so much from there that will help us be able to colonize like further, planetary bodies, whether it be Europa or Mars, things like that. So I think in the near term, probably lunar base camp and then after that Mars. Just it's a completely different environment. There's an atmosphere, albeit really thin. But I think those two are really going to drive the innovation and the technology that we'll see coming out of aerospace over the next 20 to 50 years. And in the next 100 years, being able to have, or maybe even further than that, like actual space stations, like large ones. I forget, there's a name for a specific one that I know, like
O'Neill
Jeff
colonies?
Bezos has talked about for, deep space exploration and things like that. Maybe Srinath, the name of it, but that'd be my answer.
Yeah. What you're talking about is O'Neill colonies.
Yes.
George O'Neill or whatever. He was like a sci-fi author person. So my answer to
Oh wait, sorry. Alex, Alex, raise your hand.
No, I have a question after they do the talk.
Oh, okay.
you have a
Okay.
question
I'll
about
let you know.
something Louis said, or
It made me think, but I will you say first and then.
okay. So like the first. So I guess going back to the original question, what was your question? Like, what's the advancement?
Most exciting advancement next 10 to 25 years.
Okay. Well, starting right now, the coolest advancement that's like being more popular is like reusable rockets. So like classic rockets are kind of like a firecracker where you kind of just use it once and you kind of yeet stuff up there.
Very
and
one and done.
Yeah, you just drop it in the ocean. SpaceX definitely I guess revolutionized or forwarded that a lot with their Falcon 9 by landing their first stage. The second stage still goes and dies. And a lot of companies now are doing that. And the main part about that is like sustainability and making it cheaper, and not so you're just like building something for like millions of dollars and then just dropping into the ocean, because that kind of sucks. But going past that, going back to what Lee said, like lunar colonization, which a lot of companies are working on now, and something that I like to focus on and that I really appreciate, and something that Tori Bruno, who's like a CEO of another launch company, is this idea of like a cislunar economy, which is basically like everything. We have the Earth and the Moon, and we're basically this is our like neighborhood. This is like our home as humanity, and just making full use of that. So like colonizing the moon, or inhabiting the moon, and like just making space stations between here and the moon. That way, like, the eventual goal is to have like millions of people actually living in space and like space stations and on the moon, and just kind of taking control of this area of space that we can easily reach. It's like not Total Recall, kind of like Total Recall. There's lots of movies where it's like,
Wait, would you have to terraform the moon in order to live on
No.
it? Or would you...
no, it's kind of impossible to terraform
Yeah.
because it's too
There's no
small.
atmosphere?
There's no nutrient to terraform the moon with.
Yeah, it's just, well, it's
You could
basically
like create an atmosphere, right? But that's just not a solved problem.
it's too small to like hold an atmosphere too.
Gotcha.
But basically, you just build like bases where you just stay inside. I'm trying to think of a movie that actually does it. But
Terraforming the moon, or sorry, of living
just
on
like
the moon.
yeah, living on the moon.
Futurama, dude.
Huh?
There's a
Sure.
movie called Ad Astra with I think Brad Pitt is in
Yeah,
it.
Brad Pitt and God,
I did not watch it.
It is
It's-
very boring.
Thank you for
pretty
your
boring.
input, Avnish.
If you're into space and the idea of space and what like the future may be, I think it's an interesting movie, but it's no Interstellar, it's no Gravity.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
It's a very
Ooh.
depressing. Like it's just a guy going on a road trip, but instead the road trip's like across the galaxy to meet his like I don't know, crazy old dad.
Yeah,
That's the movie.
yeah,
But it has cool visuals. I'll give you that.
yeah. It really does, and the soundtrack's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
go ahead.
yeah, but another transition. Yeah, true. I guess what I'm also more excited for is like a lot of companies are also getting into the idea of using space to like actually benefit Earth. So on top of like rockets, which are just like a tiny part of like what the space industry actually is, there's all these satellites that are actually helping people down here. So like there's communication satellites that we've been using for like decades that our society would not exist without. Like a lot of things use GPS, more things than you realize, not just your phone, but like basic commerce. in a
Yeah,
sense.
the world runs on GPS. If
Yeah,
we
the world
didn't
runs
have
on
it,
GPS.
you don't need internet to use GPS also. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You can be
It's
anywhere
like
on the
its
planet and
own
get
satellite
GPS.
network. Yeah. And another thing that's starting to come out now is like Earth observation, because we're basically killing the Earth. And one of the best ways to like know how we're killing the Earth is like have satellites that are watching over us from up top to see like, hey, we're fucking over the polar bears in this specific location here. And fun fact, we're shooting this on 3/25. 2 days ago, a giant ship lodged itself in the Suez
Oh, yeah.
Canal.
Those can all-
And there's just so many pictures from space where you can just see like the world's like 10% of the world's economy just fucking itself over because of one ship.
yeah.
Oh my god.
You can get cool memes out of that, which is kind of funny. But
It's hella
yeah, we
Yeah.
use, I think like the average person uses like satellites a lot more than we know we do. And
Yeah.
like, it can definitely, there's potential to help us a lot more. So fuck rockets, satellites.
Actually, Shrinath, I was actually gonna kind of say what it is that you said, because I don't have a lot of experience with rockets, but I do have some experience with satellites. Yeah, so I guess I could say developed space technologies sort of get split up into two categories. One is one is the category of technologies that we think about in terms of furthering human discovery. So like new lunar colonization, let's send some people to Mars, etc. And the other is here's some shit that we like really think is going to help people. An example of one that people have probably heard a lot about is Starlink, which is so most of the world is not very accessible to get internet access wherever it is that you are. So you have to actually get satellite internet. But the thing is that traditionally satellite internet's been really slow, and I think some people in the Starlink project, I don't think it's just Tesla or Elon Musk who's involved there. I think it's other groups. But like now you can get like 40 MBs down, like
Starlink is a
Sweet.
SpaceX thing.
Okay, it's a SpaceX.
So yeah,
My
it's just
bad.
Elon.
Yeah. But you can be getting like 40 MBs down anywhere in the country, anywhere in the desert right now. Whereas like before you could barely be getting kilobytes of data per second of speeds, right? Like this is a massive deal in terms of like bringing telecommunications to people in the United States. I mean,
Yeah.
we talk now a lot about how internet itself is like something that should be guaranteed to people as a resource. Yeah. It's just something kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then I think something that would sit on the side of discovery over here with satellites is there were people in the department I was working in who were doing their PhDs in this in collaboration with small private space companies in Seattle, where it was like they were trying to get a satellite to perfectly align with either an asteroid or a comet. I think it's an asteroid, not a comet. And they would get they would essentially find a way to land like a small satellite on an asteroid and then mine the asteroid. So they can get the pure metals out of that asteroid. And that's a really big deal, dude. And mainly because we can study those metals, but also from like, a capitalist standpoint, like a gram of those metals, I'm telling you, a gram of that rock is worth $20 million.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Under
A
the
gram.
alien.
You take them a pound, you've created an entire industry. It's absurd. Yeah.
Damn.
You could
Okay.
create whole new technologies. Well, there's actually one more thing I want to say. A lot of technologies that people take advantage of today are things that were created for the sake of for people going into space. All right. And I think the one that everybody knows about is Teflon. All right.
Yeah.
Teflon is a frictionless material that was like built for, I don't actually even know what it was built for with regards to space, but now it's like, the thing that we use as nonstick coating.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Teflon? Isn't that? You mean like
Teflon, nonstick
plastic
coating.
wrap?
You put Teflon on. No, that's saran wrap.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Teflon is like the
on-
nonstick coating that goes on
pans, like the nonstick.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'd break.
It's super bad for you. You're not supposed to eat it. And
Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to have really old pans. Oh, sorry, we're getting derailed. Pretty back to you.
No worries. Good there, Thomas. Anything from like
Thomas,
like
Thomas had a question. Alex, well,
yeah.
Alex has a question.
I think it was more of a transition question, right, Thomas?
No,
Or
I
is it
did
more-
have a question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, okay. So when I was a kid and like space was brought up, like my brain immediately went to NASA, and NASA is not as much in the game as it was before. And like, Srinath's working for Blue Origin. There's
I
like,
would disagree completely with that statement,
Same.
actually.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I
Yes,
wouldn't know at
NASA
all.
is still the
But
biggest in the game. They're just the most expensive.
oh,
Not
okay.
even that, but different.
Okay, so then my question was like, so Srinath's working for a company that's kind of building like space tourism. Yes, that's an
Mhm.
That's one
appropriate
of the
term.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Luis was talking about colonizing. This is more like political than engineering, but like if we're colonizing the moon, what and you I'm not expecting you guys to know this, but like what jurisdiction does that fall under? Like that colony, is that like an extension of a country, or is it the colony of human civilization? And also like space tourism, like Greece, like
Isn't
most
there
of
like
their
a
economy
whole
is the tourism they do.
At the moment, it's country based.
wait, no, there's a whole treaty that the UN signed for the space exploration as well as moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, maybe we could talk about the
ISS.
ISS. The ISS is
International
probably
waters.
ISS is
No,
kind of different,
yeah,
but yeah,
it's
as
international
Louis-
waters
yeah,
technically.
yeah.
Like the moon and everything.
yeah,
Wait,
and
Are you
sorry,
saying
like
Luis?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying, I'm pretty sure space gets treated as international waters. So, treaties that you have with other countries are important, obviously, right? That's why it's like important to, well, I personally think it's important to monitor what our, like our competitor countries are doing, like Russia and China and things like that, because, they could be doing things in bad faith up there that we're, unaware of. And moving forward, you know, humanity has a really bad track record with greed and things like that, and taking advantage when people are in a position of weakness. So I think moving forward into space, we should really always look at the International Space Station as what it has accomplished in maintaining peace and working together. Like the Russian segment and the American slash European side, they work together all the time. Like they're in constant communication. Our American astronauts learn Russian to communicate with our Russian astronauts, or cosmonauts, I should say. So, I think it's important to have like democracy and peace and working together as like the forefront of what we do in space. And like to your points that Avnish was mentioning, like mining asteroids and things like that, things that could benefit all of us, not just like one company, one country. So, that's my naive personal ideal view of what we should be doing in space.
Yeah.
Wait,
Unfortunately, though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like what probably is gonna happen is like it's gonna be individualized capitalism.
Oh yeah,
that
it's
goes-
gonna be
I mean, not
Americans
even
all
that.
over again is what it's gonna
You
be.
Yeah,
But
it's gonna
you,
be
you know. I think the first thing will happen is we'll find a way to learn how to drop bombs from space.
I mean,
I think they've already sort of
That's
figured
what
out how to
pretty
do that
much
now.
do already.
yeah, that's literally
It's just a
Oh.
rocket. A missile's a rocket, so
yeah,
Yeah, but
Wait,
now you
so-
put it in a satellite and you reposition the satellite when you want to. Like, I mean, you can't set an ICBM just anywhere, right?
yeah, you can.
Why are we looking
No,
at a
you-
square of niche and not your actual face?
Oh, I
Sorry.
think-
because the camera goes to you. Wait, Luis. So going back to my
Uh-huh.
original question, because I'm like the normal
Yeah.
citizen, like so my perception was that NASA's place is being competed for. So in your expertise, what standing does NASA still have compared to like companies like Blue Origin and SpaceX and
yeah.
everything?
So I'll let Srinath add to this, but at least in my experience of working in the HLS program, like NASA is like the epicenter of knowledge for space and for legacy technology moving forward. There's a lot of as even though we're innovating and trying to make things lighter, cheaper, things like that, like some technology still works, and we don't need to reinvent things. So we can just use technology that's been used on the space shuttle and ISS, things like that, where that's the most cost-effective approach to it right now, right? We can do R&D separately, but if we want to go on a mission right now, that's what makes the most sense. And to that point, NASA is a government body, right? So when we work with other countries, we're probably going to work through NASA because they have accords and joint agreements, things like that, with other space agencies that are operating, in India, Japan, things like that, where they don't have that private industry to really like, there's no like Blue Origin in India, right? It's
Yeah.
their space
Yeah.
program. So it makes the most sense to go through NASA because that is two governments.
NASA takes care of the politics. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, another thing also is that like NASA really is the end all regulating body on a lot of these things. Like, if NASA wasn't there to regulate, then people could just send up whatever the hell they wanted to into space. It's a real national security problem. It's the same reason why you have to be a citizen of the United States to work on a lot of space projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Can't not be a citizen. I remember people who had come to UW thinking that they'd become AMEs, aerospace and mechanical engineers, and they were like Indians or like other foreign other foreign residences, and then they got told by the school, we won't let you major in this because you can't get a
Damn.
job in the States here doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually like smart of them though, that the school's doing that at least.
Yeah, at least
I mean, you can go back to your own country. You can
Just
go back to your own
through
country.
college.
No, I'm saying
You
like at UCSD they wouldn't have done that. They would just be like, yeah, you're doing that's awesome. Like you'll have fun.
Take your
You can
money,
always
bro.
you can always go back to your own country. A lot of
Serious
people came
handshake.
from places
Good luck.
like that
Yeah,
had good space programs, right? Like Indians have Israel, right?
To your point, Amnish, like I had a friend who's Malaysian and she studied here, and then she graduated and she was like, she went home and she's like, there's nothing here for me.
Yeah.
So she came back to do her master's and other stuff, and she's probably going to pursue a different path beyond space. But yeah, that's just the unfortunate reality, right? Some countries have it, some countries don't, and it is a matter of national security. I'm curious, Srinath, in your project or your line of work, because space tourism is like as private as you can get. So how do you like interact with NASA, if at all?
Yeah, so the way I see NASA, like you guys definitely are completely right. It's a regulatory body. That's how the government actually like, so you don't just launch random shit up into space. Like Cape Canaveral, where they launch a lot of the rockets, is it was Air Force, but now it's Space Force. It's governed and run by the military because it's a matter of national security, and they are also like a huge body of knowledge considering they did for like the past, I guess, since the 60s. They've been working on stuff that we still like use their legacy designs as like a basis. But on top of that, NASA also, because they're part of like the government, they get a huge amount of money. And like part of what NASA does
Huge
is
amount?
Huh?
Weren't they bankrupt like 2 years ago?
I don't think they were ever bankrupt. That's just
They didn't get like
yeah,
funding or something like that. So
they still get like 20
so
million.
that-
programs.
yeah, they still get a lot of money. I mean, most of the money gets redistributed. Oh, actually, that I'm about to say something that's not true. Never mind. I was gonna say most of the money gets redistributed to research, but that's not the case. I think most of it goes back into just maintaining space infrastructure that already is there.
Yeah, but I was gonna say what NASA, like a huge part of what NASA does is they drive the direction of where they want like space research and space travel to go. So like a huge push in like the last decade was contracting a lot of that out to private companies. So like they give us money for certain contracts to do certain things. Like SpaceX, they got a lot of their early funding from NASA to build their rockets for launching stuff to the ISS.
Yeah, and they used to take that money and buy old Russian space bodies in order to do the work. That's how they got the cost down. It's wild.
Yeah, and like
Actually, I was gonna say.
launched,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, they also launched their own satellites for like scientific purposes, and they contract that out to like private companies like my own. And like specifically on my program, we also host NASA payloads for like research.
Yeah, makes sense.
So like,
I saw you guys were doing like LiDAR tests, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah, on one of our rockets, we were testing out some like lunar lander technology on our booster that landed. Pretty cool.
That's fucking crazy.
What are you gonna say?
A LiDAR on the lunar lander? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. I was gonna say that. Oh, like, apart from like the mechanical side, I was gonna talk about like cool biological developments for human cells.
It's since I've been working the human factor side of like the design, so a little plug here. We really pride ourselves in making a crew-centric vehicle for the use of these astronauts. And So we take a lot of, like I said, we take their opinions as a highly valuable input into our design. And one of our human factors specialists, she has done like 30 years of research on, developing the ISS and like the whole human side of it.
Yeah.
Using the toilet, showering, cleaning yourself in general, right?
Yeah.
That's such a big problem.
It's cleaning yourself, right?
Cleaning
And
yourself.
eating, sleeping, things like that. And I'm also very lucky to work with former astronauts, and so listening to their stories about going up to ISS and things like that. And one that I honestly had never really thought about, and it's like just not, I wouldn't say it's common knowledge. When you go into microgravity, your spine begins to elongate, right?
Yeah.
A certain percentage, is not that much, but it's enough to make your back hurt. And it's enough to make you not be able to fall asleep easily. So one of the ways that they realize, like, to alleviate the pain, not to cure it or anything, is to strap your legs to your chest while you're sleeping. So you're like in a little fetal position to kind of like, I don't know. They said it helped. And so one of them was telling me, he's like, yeah, I just like strapped a bungee cord right before I went to bed. I strapped myself and I was just like floating in a fetal position, and that helped me sleep.
Crazy.
Jeez.
I think that the
So
coolest thing for me, at least, when I was like talking about the biological side, like they have the
Yeah.
human factors and stuff, but then
Yeah.
when it comes to like actual travel, we're gonna need food and everything like that. So I think like the developments in hydroponics has been like
Mm.
crazy when it comes to like long-term hydroponic plants.
Yeah.
So I think that there were like recent genetic engineering projects which were like finding out how to kind of use seeds in space, because
Mhm.
that's also a huge problem. It's like, how do you get the water to stick to the seed? And like,
Yeah, how do you get the seed to stay in the soil? It's a
no,
yeah.
it's hydroponics, so there's no soil.
Oh, there's no
It's just the
soil. Is that
water.
how that works?
It's
Okay,
all
sure.
water. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
wait, educate me, please. I want to know more.
Yeah,
Actually.
literally
I
hydroponics
guess I didn't
is-
really know.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Luis.
No, I said I didn't really know like I know the word
Yeah,
and things, but I don't know what it is.
yeah. I've heard the term, but
So like,
educate me,
like
please. Yeah.
the goal is that you can use just straight up water to kind of develop the plant. So that means that all the nutrients are in the water, like all the nitrogen, like everything, all that is in the water, and that's helping to grow the plants. So you can
Oh.
genetically engineer the plants so that they can take in a lot more nutrients, they can take in a lot more water at the same time. And then you also need enough sunlight coming in so that the plants can also grow. And this is like extremely important for long-term space travel, because we don't have a way to carry
No
like, I don't
food.
know, 500 pounds of
Yeah.
food, like,
Yeah.
Carry
so
the seeds, yeah.
That's
5 years of food. 5 years of food. Yeah.
yeah, so like
more.
that's like or more, yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
like if you're going to like Europa, you need like what, like 8 years of food just to get there, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
like
one thing I definitely wish NASA like focused on, or which people
hydroponics.
focused on, not just hydroponics, like how to keep people alive and like comfortable up there. Because like I know there's a lot of like talk about. I'm gonna shit on Elon Musk all the time. I love
Yeah.
doing it. I love SpaceX.
I
Fuck
mean,
that
he's
guy.
your competitor. It's your competitor, so it makes
But
sense.
like I love the people at SpaceX. They're amazing. But fuck Elon Musk. Just as a person.
Wait,
As
so
then-
okay.
why does this? Wait, why does this story have to do with Elon? I'm a little
because
confused.
like the one thing that he really wants to do is like colonize Mars as fast as
Mhm.
possible to like save humanity or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And so one like his company SpaceX is just developing like their company SpaceX is space exploration company, and what they basically do is they're just the travel part of it. But it seems like he's trying to go ahead and just send people there, or just try to get the technology to send people there as fast as possible. But he's just there's nothing really happening and keeping people alive on the way there, because it's like a 3-year trip to Mars, first of all.
I haven't figured out the oxygen thing, right? Like where they can convert it.
Well, I mean,
It's more so for oxygen, like for breathing, it's more so the CO2 that's the issue.
Yeah, I'm saying like
Um,
they haven't figured out how to convert the CO2 to oxygen.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually NASA
I'm gonna
just
interject real quick because the last question I was gonna ask everyone, you're not gonna hate me, is if you were Elon Musk and you were planning on to colonize Mars, you have 1 minute to give your plan for colonizing Mars. So that's what I was gonna do. So each person can talk about their own spiel at that time. Because
I
also
was
we're
gonna
running
say
low on time.
Okay, because my answer is just don't.
Wait, why? Why do you
Don't
feel
colonize
like
Mars?
At least not yet. I feel like colonizing Mars, it's a 3-year journey there. You're gonna have to.
You'll have a minute. You'll have a minute to give your whole spiel.
Oh, can I give
so-
a minute now? Oh shit. Okay.
No, not right now. So we're gonna do a really quick transition question, and then we'll end with that colonizing Mars question.
Okay.
Tom has asked. You asked me to talk about your favorite space movie. I was genuinely thinking that, but then I thought we'd get into a whole debate about everyone's gonna say Interstellar, or half the people are gonna say Interstellar, and other people, Amnish is gonna be like, but Star Wars is a space movie. Han Solo wait between his legs.
Actually, you're pretty close. You're pretty close. I was gonna say Spaceballs, but that works too.
I was actually thinking Star Trek, but sure.
Oh, Star Trek's good too. I mean, Star Trek for the old guy.
A little modified question. A modified question is, what is a more impressive like return from space movie? This is in terms of cinematic piece, not historical accuracy. Because you have picked Apollo 13 versus Gravity. Which one do you think is a better return from space? Oh no, we fucked up movie. We'll start again with Thomas.
Does Independence Day count? Oh, sorry.
No,
I don't want.
Apollo 13 on Gravity only.
Only those two?
Only those
Between those two.
Well, how about like Martian?
Oh, you left out a good movie.
I say we keep the Martian in there.
I say we keep the Martian.
Apollo 13, Martian, and
I mean, we can take out Gravity. That was kind of a shit movie, but
yeah, Gravity's actually fucking terrible.
I'm not having a good memory of Apollo 13 right now. I definitely seen it, but I don't remember a lot of it. I like the Martian at least. That's my
Martian.
Yeah.
I like the Martian because I don't remember the others. Oh, brilliant. Gupta, go ahead.
I'd definitely say Apollo 13 because it's like based on real events and they kind of show like the actual struggles that happen. And the whole Martian, the concept itself doesn't make sense because like the authors, they also said that like Mars dust isn't strong enough to do any of the shit that it did in the movie.
Yeah.
So like Apollo 13 was like, it's super interesting. I think it was like, correct me if I'm wrong, it was pretty factual, right? When it came to the scientific accuracy. We
watched it like 5 times in Boy Scouts. It must have been pretty accurate.
But it was like
no, I mean like that's what I'm saying, that like they had figured out exactly what the astronauts had done while they were up there, and then kind of just like recreated based off that with a bit of drama and dramatic there. But I thought it was really good because they really showed like even the psychological like side effects and everything. While it was in the Martian, I don't know, they didn't show too much. Like he said "fuck you" to the place, and then that was it. Like,
they called themselves a space pirate. I don't
think that was like the coolest thing. Yeah, but that was it. Like I didn't see anything else. Yeah.
Louis, Srinath, Avnish, in that order.
I would say Apollo 13. Pretty much everything that Gupta said. With the addition that I just love the actors in there. Tom Hanks is just generational. And also, I was reading not too long ago that when they're in the microgravity, they filmed it in like the parabolic flights. So
shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And
that's actually insane. Like,
so
dude,
you need to be a talented actor to be able to like do the parabolic flight and then pull off your scene. That sounds awful.
That's exactly.
It's Tom fucking Hanks.
Yeah,
of course. Srinath?
See, I want to see the Martian now they brought Martian into it, just because like it's just so sick.
Yeah, I'm with you on this too. I like yeah.
I don't know. The whole ending part kind of like went over my head because I didn't understand shit. Like,
oh really? Oh, okay.
No,
I liked it because it made sense.
No, okay. At the end, he didn't like his spacecraft wasn't even like one of the pressure killed him. Like I didn't understand that. Like
100%, but like things weren't that factual in Apollo 13. Like,
wait, Luis.
I mean,
wait, Luis.
I mean, the Martian atmosphere is like really thin, and he's in a pressurized suit. So in theory, like the drag and the pressure from the drag could break your back probably.
Okay.
But to the point where like he's dead, like I think you would have to run the numbers on that.
I'm sure the author did not.
I mean, let alone the fact that he went into space probably going at like over over a couple hundred miles an hour, and then he got launched into space. I mean, he should have in theory just like splattered like a fly on a windshield when he yeah. I mean, like, what do you want me to say? Like,
Yeah, no, like straight.
it's a sci-fi movie, you know.
Like and all that stuff. That was just like, it just went over my head, like the physics of that shit.
Man's literally had a propeller chair. Like his chair had a little gas in it. You know what I mean? And then he used the pressure in his glove to like shoot himself towards the, yeah. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to the last question of today's podcast. As I pretty much already said it, but I'll repeat it for one time. This is actually a fun fact. This is actually a MMI mock mini interview, like a med school question that they ask you during the interviews. They give you 30 seconds to prepare, which I'm not giving you guys.
Did you get into med school or something? I totally forgot.
So, and then you guys have 1 minute to.
Was it?
Do you want to give the first? Ruthie, do you want to give the first answer? I want to hear the answer that's been properly tested on multiple years.
I want to hear the answer that got you into med school.
I wasn't never asked this question. It was like the test bank of like practice questions. That's it.
For St. Louis University.
So, anyways, they ask you to keep in either the economic, biological, medical, political, any point of view that you want to go ahead and speak with. Mechanical engineering point of view, aerospace engineering point of view. Whatever you feel most comfortable with addressing, you have 1 minute. We'll go Srinath, Gupta, Louise, Thomas, and end with Avnish, just because that's the order you hear on my Zoom thing.
There's no need to hold me up. Oh God, I don't want to follow Srinath at least.
Okay, so we'll start with Srinath. I'll let you know when your 1 minute starts.
What's
so
the
you
question?
You have 1 minute to talk about if you had to colonize Mars. How would you go about doing so? You have 1 minute to go from any point of view. Like I said, you can attack the problem
Can I
from
get
a
30
medical.
seconds to think?
Sure. You can think while I'm repeating the question.
Okay.
You have 15 seconds left. So you can talk
I
about
can also
this
just give my answer, by the way.
No, you're last.
Wait, you can go first. It's fine.
No.
I have a minute.
5,
I can
4,
just keep fucking
3, 2, 1, go.
Level up.
I would not colonize Mars until I know that, first of all, we colonize the moon and make sure that we can sustainably have a human population in space or in a foreign environment. Because right now we can barely survive. The ISS is basically, if anything goes wrong, they're dead. And on Mars, 3 years away worth of travel, it doesn't seem worth sending people there until we know for 100% that we could keep them there comfortably and, that they can survive. And there's no long-term effects of being in a lower gravity environment, because that's just unethical. And if there's a baby born there eventually, they cannot go anywhere else but stay on Mars.
Yeah, I have
20 seconds left.
Yeah, so I think the eventual colonization or inhabitation of Mars is inevitable for the human race, but I don't think we should do that until we can do it ethically and responsibly. And we also don't have a space policy that even governs inhabiting another planet.
Time.
I have a quick follow-up question, if that's allowed.
Oh, wait, I got 3 more words.
Fuck Elon Musk.
There we go.
What is up, Gupta?
Wait, no, I had a question. So, like, you're talking about like people in lower gravity situations. Like, how do you test it if you're not in like going to Mars or the moon? How do you test like lower?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking Srinath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm fine with the moon. Moon is 3 days worth of travel, and if anything goes wrong, we're in our local, like, this is our neighborhood.
Right.
We can be here a lot more comfortably than on another planet that's 3 years and it's a lot more dangerous worth of travel. Like, we don't even know if someone can survive being in zero gravity for 3 years on like high radiation environment. Like,
Wait, but say if you're using that thingy that spins.
Well,
centrifuge? What?
Like a giant space station
super
that spins
huge centrifuge
to
that
mimic
mimics the
artificial gravity.
Yeah.
That part is also iffy. The science behind that is also, like, the one in The Martian wasn't completely accurate.
Centripetal force.
Yes, centripetal force.
It's
a lot weirder than you think. But yeah, see, there's just a lot of unknowns that we just haven't started developing, and that's something I hope that NASA does focus on, like, in the near future.
Gotcha.
But my whole point
that-
is like, sorry, yeah. To summarize, my whole point is we shouldn't do it until we know that we can do it and not kill people or hurt people, because that's kind of fucked up.
Or you know what I could do? I could genetically engineer the humans so that they can survive.
Okay, are you starting?
Jesus Christ, that's just more unethical.
Dude,
Hey,
no,
good-
I'm saying like we are removing ethics from this whole.
I
thing
didn't say any.
altogether.
I didn't give you
Wait,
any
wait,
background knowledge.
which
so
of the
make assumptions
Stocktrams
whatever you
killed mice in a lab?
Both of us.
Oh, Jesus
want.
Christ.
I'm gonna start doing that again though soon. So.
Yeah. I feel like any research nowadays is killing mice. That's the starting point. Okay, Gupta, you're gonna start in 8 seconds. So get your soliloquy ready, and Louise, you're on deck.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So okay. When it comes to like so I'm a biologist again.
Oh,
didn't know.
bioinformaticist, John
I'm
Hopkins.
actually a bioinformaticist, and I go to John Hopkins. Like,
We just wasted 20 seconds of this thing.
but so my whole point is that like with Mars colonization, I completely agree with Trinath. Like you need to have the technology ready in order to send people there. It doesn't make sense to do it otherwise. But then when it comes to like the ethics, dude, I'm like not like who cares like at the end of the day for a lot of these things.
God damn.
Like, if you want to colonize space, you have to take some risks, you know.
20 seconds.
Like that's what I'm saying though. Like if you want to do something like revolutionary, you have to take a risk or two. So if you have the technology there, I
10
think
seconds.
it's fine.
All
But-
I hear Gupta saying is space racism and space slavery.
And space communism.
All right,
Yeah.
time is up. Good job, Gupta. Nish, you can go
Good
next
job.
since I know you have to leave early. Nish and then Louise.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to give an alternative view. So I don't. Okay. So humans are relatively impatient in their endeavors, and so like people would think, oh, we should like aim to get people onto Mars within the next 100 years. I don't know whether that's going to be possible, but let's start with baby steps. Maybe what we could do is send some weird type of bomb that creates an atmosphere to Mars, send it over there, drop that shit. If there's life there, well, I guess now I'm canceled. And
30
because
seconds.
I'll effectively have taken away their atmosphere and created another atmosphere. Let that sit for 100 years, explore it and study it as needed with the lovely technology has been sent by the government. And yeah, let's just start with that, We'll get to ethics when we can get there, all right?
Exactly. Dude. Fuck ethics, dude.
Like
And
I
this
got
is
two
coming from the guy-
comments.
No, I'm kidding. I don't. I fuck with ethics. Like I like ethics.
John Hopkins hops up.
Hopkins is watching.
You
A
just threw me under the
bioinformaticist.
bus.
Hey, bioinformaticist or eugenicist?
Anish, this is why officially I
Good
can't call you
line.
Dr. Narayan.
No. But yeah, no ethics. Ethics you should definitely consider when you're doing that.
NASA part
He's
of
just
being
covering his ass.
has like
Dude,
a-
no,
Fuck this guy.
I'm a big public health guy, right? Like I gotta make sure that everything goes.
Fuck this guy.
Uh,
Oh my god. Okay. Louise and then Thomas will be last. So obviously
Oh,
you'll have the best
God.
presentation.
I trust
I love setting up Thomas for failure. This is one of my greatest joys. Louise, go ahead.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I think I agree with everyone about the ethics. I just want to say that I am an outstanding advocate for ethics and safety.
He said he agrees with
But-
everyone on that.
Y'all are a
Just
bunch
left the
of
room.
y'all are a bunch of fucking snowflakes, all right?
What the hell?
Yeah, Louise, sorry, go ahead.
But I think if you were realistically trying to go to Mars, it wouldn't just be one company or one country. It has to be a joint effort, just because, like as you mentioned, like it's such a huge step, where we don't even have like 100 people at once in space right now, right? And then in the first lunar missions, we're gonna have 4, eventually adding to that, right? So there's certainly ethics and safety involved. Of like, let's just send 100 people in the first try, right? Like
20 seconds.
yeah, and so I think I still look at it as like the early exploration of like in like with ships, right? On the seas, like as Suchman said, there's gonna be risks and there's there's going to be
10
obstacles and environments that you're just not even expecting. So you
So,
can
Luis, are you
prepare.
saying that it's going to be okay for space genocide to happen then?
Yeah.
He starts off, I agree with ethics, and conclusion.
Ends with
That's-
space
Space
genocide.
Yeah, but
That's
my
the landing.
point is like you can prepare as much as you want, but you won't know what it's like until you get there,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And the whole capitalist side to it is gonna screw everything up. That's what I think. And democratize space.
Yeah.
Yay.
Love that.
No,
That's my
but
favorite so far.
to follow up on that, do you think that
Shut
China
up,
would
Ruthie.
do a better job, Luis, than
What
the
is
United
that?
States? Do you think China would do a better job than the United States in terms of space colonization? Because
I don't think they would do a better or worse job. I think it's both countries would be able to do it. If I'm being honest, it's just a matter of the focus that you have and your intentions and the goals that you are looking to obtain from doing so.
Gotcha. Okay.
Problem with China is that like they also don't like, I guess, play well. It's like if we both want to go up there, we have to make sure that we don't like our astronauts don't start killing each other. Like there's a
Oh.
TV show called For All Mankind. I think
Yeah.
it's that one.
Yeah, I started
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
like
they
a few
started.
days ago.
It's like an alternate history where like after the Apollo missions, we kept doing stuff, and so like I think it was us and was it Russia or China? I forgot.
Russia.
It was us and another country up there with our own bases.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Space Force. Fuck. The TV show. Either way, all of it still ends up with the astronauts fighting each other on the moon.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay. Space versus China. Yeah.
Yeah, Space Force was China. For All Mankind was Russia. Either way, let's not have astronauts just throwing wrenches at each other in zero gravity. Even though that would look so cool, but
All right. Thomas, take us home. Your minute starts. You have 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, this is gonna sound really like down, but this is genuinely how I feel. I have a very, very, very positive view of humankind currently, but
that's your first mistake.
yes,
What?
I don't believe in colonization. I think that if we were to go and colonize other planets, that's basically admitting that the Earth, we're ditching the Earth and the Earth's gonna die, which already it is, and we're causing that. But if that were to be the future of mankind, where mankind goes and colonizes another planet and then eventually kills that planet, has the technology to go colonize another planet, I stop looking at humanity as humanity and start looking at us as parasites. And that has been my view when it comes to how enthusiastic some people talk about
10
colonization.
seconds.
So I wouldn't colonize Mars. And if people did colonize Mars, I would honestly stay here.
All right.
Oh, you think they'd ask you to go? That's funny. No, I'm just
Okay, I have some comments about that.
Go ahead, Trinad.
Oh, I agree with Alex 100%. Part of what I mentioned fucking 40 minutes ago or something was I'm a big proponent for like colonizing the moon and keeping within our like local neighborhood. And the purpose of that, and something that again, Tory Bruno, amazing guy. He's CEO of ULA, which is like another rocket company. His whole purpose of like going up there is to make sure that we can actually use the resources up there to benefit Earth down here. And so part of colonizing like both like the orbit around us and the moon is that so we can either like mine asteroids and get materials up there and like build and maintain satellites in space that benefit Earth ultimately. And basically use as much resources as we can get from up there to benefit Earth in some way. Like there's a push for like moving heavy industry up to space where like it won't pollute the Earth in whatever many ways. There's lots of different studies that again NASA should probably fund.
Yeah.
That's part of like what some companies are trying to push for, like ULA, Blue Origin is one of them. Another reason why I disagree with Elon Musk is because he just wants to colonize Mars for the sake of getting out of Earth. So yeah, I do feel your sentiment, and I do want to. That is what some people in the space community want to do, which is just get the fuck off of Earth because we're dying. But there are a lot of other people and some companies who want to use Earth to actually help fix Earth.
Yeah, and if I can just add one thing, because I totally understand where both of you are coming from, and I'll be honest, I completely disagree with you guys about staying within our community and not taking advantage of the resources that we have available to us in the universe as a whole. I believe that humans are explorers, and we should use our and our ability to explore and to learn about where we came from and things like that. But also, yeah, and again, this is a totally naive and idealistic view that if we start doing this in other places that are not Earth, that are, let's take, for example, a planet where we just know we can't terraform, we can't create an atmosphere, we can't create life or an asteroid, something like that. But we can mine it for its resources, things that are either, very scarce on Earth or very hard to acquire on Earth or, damaging to Earth, things like that. So I think in my optimistic view is oh, if we have access to those resources and we can make them, accessible, we'll be less inclined to damage Earth and preserve the home of humanity. And like I said, totally optimistic, totally idealistic. It's not going to happen, but I think we should try. I do understand the noble effort to create, sustainable, renewable industries and resources, but I am also a pessimist in the idea that I think we've done too much at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't see why we should just be no, we don't we shouldn't go explore. We need to focus right here. I think we can do both. Um, that's not to say that we should or we will or we can, but yeah, I really do think the universe is there for a reason. Why not
Okay.
go find out why it's there?
That's
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. And with that, I think we're already a little bit over time, but regardless, it was really great getting to hear from you, Louise, and we really appreciate you coming on. We've got really cool insights. I know Srinath's been looking into this episode for probably quite some time now, which is he's just going off all episode. I've never even seen him so happy, and that's saying something because it's Srinath. Thank you, Louise, for coming on once again. Thank you to everyone who's watching / listening. Stay tuned. Next episode will be coming out next Sunday, and see you guys next time.